Hi guys, today we're going to be reacting to the most insane Zack films. This guy's actually absolutely crazy. So yeah, let's get right into the video. Alright.
He stood neck deep in the ocean, waiting as the cold slowed down his heart. But when authorities arrived, they just stood on the shore and watched. They called the Coast Guard, but the boat never arrived. A woman tried to rescue him,
Stood and watched him die?
but police told her not to. And even when the man collapsed, they did nothing. Finally, a civilian pulled him to shore, but it was too late. The family sued, arguing that authorities should have saved him, but they said it wasn't their responsibility to save the man's life. And a judge agreed, throwing the case out.
That's messed up. You're just gonna watch somebody drown and die, and authorities let you. That's crazy. Oh, what else do we have?
If you tie a string around a loose tooth and tie the other end to an arrow, you might think you could shoot it to pull the tooth out. But since it pulls forward instead of up, this could easily rip your gums. Like if you tied one arrow to every tooth, then shot them all at the same time, the force could snap your teeth off at the root instead of pulling them out, which is why you should probably just let nature handle it. If you tie he stood neck deep. If you tie...
So, maybe a solution would be shooting the arrow upwards, Zack films? Like, get a brain?
It's too scary to walk alone at night.
What? No.
If you press chocolate ice cream against vanilla ice cream, for some reason, it's like they perfectly transfer over without mixing. And this happens because they don't slide smoothly apart. The surfaces stick together. And as the ice cream pushes past each other, some of it starts stretching, forming a thin layer that clings to the other scoop. When the two cones get pulled apart, the layer tears, and you get left with matching patches that look completely unmixed.
I get it.
If you press chocolate ice...
Basically, I thought it was rubbing in the same direction. Wait, that's genuinely impossible. Rubbing in the same direction? What am I talking about? That's just this. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I guess.
As you play scissors, a high-speed camera films your hand, watching for tiny changes in your fingers. As soon as they begin to form the shape, a computer program signals to the robots to play rock, and the hand forms its own move, all within a split second. But since it's way too fast for the human eye, it looks like you're playing at the same time. So, no matter what you play or how fast you move, the robot will win every single game. As you play scissors...
2050, imagine TVs detecting... pause for... Alright, sorry for the annoying interruption.
High-speed camera films your...
2050, we have TVs detecting the senses in the air. That's crazy. That's just wild.
If you draw a half circle with a radius of 1, the curved edge will measure pi. Now, if you split that curve into two smaller half circles, their curves will still add up to pi. Then split them again and again, making more and more tiny curves. Eventually, the shape starts to look flat, like a straight line that's twice as long as the radius. But the curves never actually become straight, because even when they get extremely small, those pieces are still curves that always add up to pi.
It's easy to understand. It's like fractions, guys. It's easy to understand. If you're in third grade, if you've ever done third grade, kindergartners out there who don't know what fractions are, then this is easy for you.
While he was studying, a hand reached through the window and dropped a velvet case onto his desk. Inside were two glowing contact lenses. He slid one onto each eye, and immediately the text on the page moved. Diagrams
Cheaters in 20,000 years.
animated, labels slid in place, and the answers appeared right on the paper. Every problem was solved before he even finished reading it. On the way out of the library, he saw the man who gave him the lenses watching in the distance. During labs, the lines he needed to cut appeared as paths, and when taking a test,
He's always watching. I'm gonna call it.
every question lit up with answers only he could see. He graduated at the top of his class and saw the mysterious man again in the crowd. Years passed by, and he became a legend in the industry. While operating, overlays hovered over organs, showing him exactly what to do. And every single one of his patients survived. After years of this, the call came. The president had suffered a stroke live on air. Emergency surgery was needed, and he was their best bet. His hands were shaking as he scrubbed in, but as he stood over the president, the lenses immediately brightened, drawing neat paths across the failing heart. He began to push the scalpel into the skin, but then everything disappeared. There was nothing to guide his hands. Shaking, he pushed the scalpel anyway and cut too deep. Blood spurted up over his arms, and it was too late. Monitors were flatlining. The president was dead. The crowd was horrified as they looked down at the body, except for one man. He was completely unfazed, with a faint smile on his face as he turned and walked away.
He's always watching. He is a liar. He's smirking at the president's death. That's genuinely wild. That should be like a movie or something. No.
If you wake up at night with a full bladder and empty it too quickly, it can fire up a nerve connected to your heart. And in some people, this nerve sends a signal straight to the heart, slowing it heart. And in some people, this nerve sends a signal straight to the
Zack, films, chill. You're gonna traumatize us.
heart, slowing it down and widening the blood vessels. This could cause your blood pressure to drop, so less blood flows to your brain, making you feel dizzy until you faint, right?
I'm never peeing at night again. No.
There in the bathroom. You would take about $800 and stash it out of the other player's sight. And during the game, when it looks like you're about to run out of money and lose, you pull out the hidden cash. Do this a few times throughout the game, and you'll condition the other players to always assume you have a stash somewhere. Then, when no one's paying attention, you grab a mix of large bills from the bank, aiming to steal around $3,200. That's enough for 3 to 4 new stashes that you can work with. Now, when you're actually about to lose, you pull out the stolen cash, and no one will question where it came from.
Sorry. Yeah. No.
The stray bullet struck her right in the stomach. It pierced the skin, but started to slow down as it entered her body fat. Layer by layer, the fat absorbed more of the bullet's energy, like a cushion. And by the time it hit deeper tissue, the bullet had lost most of its force, coming to a stop before hitting any organs and saving her life. The stray bullet struck.
Chunky monkey save over here.
If you get buried by an avalanche, the snow will compress you on all sides, making it hard to tell which way is up. So if you try to dig your way out, you could end up going the wrong way and suffocate to death. Instead, some people say to cover your face and make an air pocket. Then start drooling. Whichever way the drool falls is down, so you should dig the opposite way. If you get buried,
Alright.
I didn't forget.
place a pivot here, Now spin the line. The part near the center will move slowly, creating different sized circles to eventually make a shape that sort of looks like a sun. Now add another rotating point. The first pivot pulls the whole line around. The second swings it out wider. And the tip spins the fastest of them all, meaning this single line will trace out something that looks like a flower. Place a pivot. If CPR doesn't work, they'll declare you dead. But then the doctor will wait.
Declaring somebody dead when you don't even know.
Watching you closely as they time 10 minutes, since you could suddenly gasp for air. Now, nobody knows exactly why this happens, but some say it's because CPR can overfill your lungs, which could put pressure on your heart. And once they stop and declare you dead, that pressure goes down, allowing your heart to suddenly start beating again, bringing you back from the dead and terrifying the doctor.
Bringing you back from the dead.
Hey,
What is that?
What?
he pulled the bearings out of a skateboard and wrapped an old tube around them, then added a motor and put it in the fish tank. Next, he injected a shrimp with bacteria and let it run on the tiny treadmill before measuring the bacteria again. This showed how much bacteria stayed inside the shrimp and how many germs people might eat when it was served. But when people saw the experiment, they were outraged, saying millions had been spent on shrimp fitness, even though the scientist paid for it himself, and it only cost $50. He pulled the bearings out of a skateboard.
I don't even like shrimp anyways.
If you cut a pilonidal cyst in half, you'd probably find a clump of hair inside. Now, these hairs typically fall from your head and down the back of your shirt. And as you ruffle around throughout the day, they move down to this area and eventually embed into your skin. Your body perceives them as a foreign object, and the area
Me when I get a haircut.
becomes inflamed. Now, this can eventually cause a cyst to form that entraps more and more hairs as they fall. If you cut a pilot clump of hair in
Oh, sorry for the pause. No.
He used her fingerprints to open her phone and peeled back her eyelids using her face to unlock her bank account. You see, he was deep in debt from gambling, and when his ex-girlfriend got sick, he mixed cold medicine into her food, making her fall into a deep sleep. He sent himself over $20,000, which he used to pay off his debt, before running away to gamble even more. But when she woke up, she had several alerts from her bank, so she called the police and the man was eventually arrested.
That's pure rage. You know, if you don't win gambling, accept it and suck it up. Don't be a toddler.
He placed hot milk into the freezer next to another cup of milk that was at room temperature. And for some reason, the hot milk froze faster than the room temperature milk. And even though he researched it, the boy couldn't figure out why. Some scientists think it's because ice needs something to catch onto as it freezes, meaning in a perfectly smooth container, cold water can get stuck in a liquid state, even when the temperature is below freezing. But since the hot water has bubbles to start the freezing process, it freezes like normal. But since no one has ever proven a theory, we still don't have an answer. He placed hot When you push a wheelbarrow through grass, the wheel will bounce and nearly tip over. But if you push it down the same path again, the grass will start to bend more. Keep repeating it, and the wheel starts to carve a shallow groove into the dirt. Over time, it fits perfectly in that track. It gets so deep that trying to go anywhere else becomes difficult because the wheel keeps falling back into the rut. Your brain works the same way. The first time you check your phone out of boredom, you have to think about it. But repeat it enough times, and you find yourself reaching for your phone on default all of the time, stuck in the rut that you carved for yourself. You push a wheelbarrow through grass.
I do check the time like all the time. It is 7:35 right now. And 7:35 is the time that I say, bye guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Zack Films is weird. Peace.